All right, hello everybody. Let's go ahead and check out the results from our animating our custom characters. I've got the scene opened up here and the packages downloaded, and so I'll just drag them in one by one and we'll see what happens. So first is Devin's. Okay, so we've got import, good, material, prefab named, good, and then the scripts, and the stuff that I've already got is not checked. So that should be fine. Let's go ahead and try it. Okay. Just checking that it's the entire thing. Yep. So I'm going to turn this one off. And actually, one last bit, the camera. Okay, so I have to make sure the camera is following the one that I drag in, otherwise it won't. Okay, let's see. There we go. We've got our walk and our run. There it goes. So, whoa. I'm going to do that a lot. I think I should make the ground bigger for this test. Got an alarm going off. There we go. Oh, and there we go. Got a thumbs up. Test it with jumping. Cool. If I just click. Yep, just click, just goes straight through. Okay. Looks good. I'd say the only weird thing is just that when I go to the running animation, his body is kind of jerking back and forth pretty rapidly. So just displace the root a little bit less on that one. Yeah. There you go, falling to my death. I'm going to make this bigger, because if I don't, then it's going to drive me crazy. So I'll be falling off over and over. There we go. All right. Everything seems to be looking pretty good. I don't see any weird hitching playback or glitchy animations or anything like that. And our thumbs up works just fine. Whee! That's kind of fun. So in situations like this where we've got a thumbs up and we've got the character jumping through the air, it is possible to have blending animations in addition to overriding ones. What we did was an override layer, which means that it either plays 100% or it doesn't. And so what we could have done is we could have had it blend a little bit so that the arms kind of fly around maybe at the shoulder, but the forearms and hands do a different thing. Completely possible, but it takes a more careful setup. Oh, look, I got the guy to float. There we go. Let me restart it. I don't think that was Devin's doing. Nope. He set it up right. Just something with the collision when I like interact with the boxes, and then sometimes I end up floating. I think it's the boxes that does it each time. Maybe the ball. Yep. Now I'm floating. All right. Very good. Thank you. So I'm going to just try dragging in the next one without deleting anything first, and we'll see if that works out. So we've got, as long as everyone named everything, then it should be okay. We've got the mask, FBX, controller. We don't need that. Here's the prefab. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay. And update the camera. There we go. Okay, let's see. I don't know why I'm starting at going backwards. Okay, pretty good. I think your mask might be applied right now because the root isn't moving at all. It's just kind of pinned to the space. Either that or you never animated your root. So one of those two things could be occurring. Let's try the... Yeah, I think maybe your mask... Well, no, because then the arms wouldn't animate. So maybe it's likely that you didn't animate the root. Oh, that was funny. I was going through the ground. More so when I'm pointing. I want to take a look at the import for this one. So I think that's the right one. Well, let's find out. Let's look at walk. And run. No, actually, this is that's Devin's. So let me see. Import imports. Aha. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's just your animation. Let's see. Import constraints, resample curves, time. I thought there was a an option to either include or not include the root node in the animation, but I'm not seeing it. Where would that be? Root transformation position Y, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for, is it? Let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I guess you need to check this in order for your character to bob up and down. Bake into pose root transformation position Y on your walks and runs. Let's hit apply there. Most of the others didn't need it, and I'm not sure why yours does. Let me see the idle. Yeah, even the idle. Oh, yeah. Okay. So as he's moving up and down, bending his legs, his feet are actually kind of like moving in and out of the ground until I click this. Well, in that one, it didn't do very much, but let's go ahead and just click it on for run at least. Yeah, because it looks real bizarre. Oh, okay. The run doesn't really have much anyway, but it did help with the walk. So now that I've done that, at least if we test again, it probably won't look quite so odd. No, it still looks pretty odd. It may be that the up-down motion was a little bit too subtle on yours, and this is Jesse's, by the way, that I'm talking about. Might have been a little bit too subtle, or it could have been a setting issue, but as I was just messing with the settings, I got a result for the walking, but it was pretty subtle, so maybe that's the case. Let me take one more look. There's the walk. Hey, where'd my preview window go? Do I have to have, that selected? What the heck? Oh, did I? I shrunk it down. Yeah, I think it's just too subtle that this blending with the run ends up being just a glide. So unfortunate for that one part, but everything else seems to be working out properly. So thank you. Let's take a look at Yang's. Hello, Yang.
So,
How you doing?
I'm just tired from work.
Ah, I think we can all relate. So you've got a player controller prefab that you didn't rename. So I hope that it's going to work out, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. If I import it and it doesn't work, then I'll delete it from the project and re-import, and we'll see. So it should be this one right here that I turned off earlier. Just to be safe, I'll delete it out of the scene at the very least. And import this. It's got the right posture. It's definitely your character's posture. There we go. You know, surprisingly, it blends okay. I thought it was going to be a lot weirder. But yeah. Okay. And then if I hold. Okay. So
I didn't do the hold because when he was moving and jumping while doing that, he just looked weird.
yeah. So do you know what's doing that? Like what's making it float like that?
No.
Okay. It's the character mask is what's going on there. So you created a character mask. Do you know where you put it? In import, maybe?
Import?
There we go. Okay, so here's your character mask. So let's expand all. So you've included root in the mask. Just don't. Just leave that out. And now when we play it, it won't hold the root still. So here we go. We'll walk, and there we go.
Oh,
Right? So by including the root, you say um, animate the root only according to the override layer. So by disallowing that, we say do everything else, but don't do that part.
okay.
Yeah. And in fact, I could mess with this a little bit, like in your mask here, if I expand all. Let's include some part of the spine. Here we go. So I'm gonna take away these two. So now when he tries to perform his action, he won't bend over at the waist. See? He just does the gesture with
It's
the
just a
arms.
dab.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So it's just the arms now. And I could disallow the head also, so it was just the arms, or just one arm, or just the head, or something like that. In fact, you can use the same animation to layer in several different parts of the body if you want to, which is kind of interesting. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And everything seems to be working out properly other than that. Any problems?
No, I think at the end everything came out just good, just great.
Okay. Very good. Thank
I
you.
have a question. Like when
Yeah.
you're like in game and you're able to like modify the stuff in Unity,
Mm-hmm.
how do you do that? Because when I press play on my Unity, everything becomes gray in the background, and I can only just play the game.
Really?
Yeah, like mine isn't like yours that you can modify stuff while you're in game.
Do you have maximize on play? I'm trying to think, because this is how it's supposed to function. Is you should be able to hit play and mess around with stuff.
Hmm. I
Uh,
don't know because when I press play on mine, everything becomes gray in the background, and I can only modify what's in game.
I'm not sure. This is just how it's always worked for me.
Hmm. Yeah, because you know when you gotta be in game and then modify the thresholds for the animations and all that stuff.
Well, you do have to select something in order to do it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Are you maybe inside of a prefab at the time? So if now I've got this in play mode, I can't go inside this prefab in play mode. So there's that. If I went, let's see, where's your prefab player controller? So here I'm inside the player controller prefab. Now I'll hit play. And in scene, like I can't, does it look like this?
No, so like, and that the in game, it's working fine, but just the rest, everything on like it's just rigid body or like inspector and all that, it just becomes like gray, and I can't touch anything.
Huh. I don't know. Well, maybe there's a little lock here. Let me see. What's that? It's going to give me a tooltip. No? Okay, I'm going to just hit lock and see if that does it. Because I have no idea. No? It all still looks interactable to me.
No, it's fine. I'll just figure it out later. It was bugging me that I wasn't able to like send this.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a fairly important function for you to be able to see components changing at runtime. And it's weird that yours works differently. I don't exactly know what the issue is there, but yeah, I say try to look it up. I'm going to try to look it up once we're off the meeting and see if I can figure out what it is, because that's not how it should work.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, man. Thank you. Miguel, how you doing? Cool. So we've got player controller, all the imports. Looks good. Bring that in. Okay. Drag it up. Change the camera. You know what? I just recalled. I don't have to do that each time. I think I changed the script so that it searches for the first object tagged as player. Let me try that real quick. Yeah, because I didn't do it on Yang's and it did it anyway. So yeah, that's past me looking out for current me, thinking I'm going to be brain dead. Cool. Whoa. So we had a little return back to idle in the middle of the jump there. So maybe there's a mist or like an empty field in the blend tree or something. maybe the thresholds. We'll take a look in a sec. But we got the the finger guns. Whoa! Look at the body.
Yeah, when he goes into the run.
Wow. Okay, so probably it's the same thing as what we were seeing with Yang, that the root needs to stay upright. And so either you've included it or need to not include it in the character mask. So let's try to see if we can figure out both of those. Would it be in the animations, your character mask? Nope. Import.
No, import.
Import. All right. So we've got right here. Let's see which one it is. So, oh, you've got hip as included, or excluded, rather, but everything else, oh, including the spines. I think let's turn the hip off, because that's definitely a part of the walk or the run. And let's turn the spines back on and see if that's it.
Slightly better.
Yeah. Okay. The hip part was what was making the legs kick out. Yeah. I think that's about as good as you're going to get, I think. We could try it again with disallowing the spine like you had. So was there a reason that you were not including these two?
No, it's just what you ended up doing.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is fine. Now. Yeah, I think it was better unchecking.
With the spine.
Yeah. Because we've got so much rotation. So it needs that, essentially. Okay, cool. Then let's take a look at the jump to see what. Where's my animator? See animation. Is it on the other window? I've got so much stuff up right now. Let me hide some things. Okay. Well, I don't see it. There it is. So we're going to take a look at the jump tree. And mess with the threshold. So yeah, your middle position, your jump mid, doesn't appear to be like a midair position. It's just standing.
I must have messed up the
The-
actual setup for that animation.
Because it's named correctly. So let's, all right, so let's look at the import here and see jump up is set to 158, 159. Jump mid is
Oh,
one.
great.
Yeah, okay. So we might be able to solve it just by clicking this and hitting apply. Or,
Fix that.
yeah,
It was really twitchy, so I did it to one frame, but then like a few minutes later in the video, you said it doesn't like those.
yeah, it doesn't. It seems to still not like it. Okay. So we'll change then jump mid to, well, how many frames could we include? 62 going to be okay? Oh, this is what you were seeing?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was worse before without the loop time, I think.
there's more than one way to handle it. Okay, let's try it with. Yeah, it's pretty twitchy. Loop time and loop pose, maybe. Still not. Okay, so the other way to handle that then, when we grab our character, there we are, is to change the playback speed over here. So for mid, since it's really twitchy, let's change the playback speed to like 0.1. So it's going to play slow motion. So now that's what we get. Now the character is going to be in motion throughout the scene when he's doing this. So this probably won't represent a big problem at that point. But if we wanted to play even slower, then we could try 0.01.
Is it possible to set it to 0?
Let's see. No. Didn't let me. but we can use negative numbers. So we can play it backwards or forwards. Yeah, it won't let me play just at 0. What's this last column? Mirror animation. I don't quite know what that means, so we'll just not. Yeah. So 0.01. Let's try just 0.1. I want to see if it's got a little bit of twitchy, slower motion, if it's going to still behave right. Let's go play. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Totally acceptable, I think.
I like the jumping and finger pointing at the same time. There we go. Whoop. So for yours, I want to try one more experiment then. On your action layer, oh, I should actually stop the playback. On your action layer here, we've got a weight of 1 set to override. What if I set the weight a little bit lower? Will we get some motion back into the chest and head? I think you probably have to set it to blending to do that, but I just want to see if this will actually do it. There we go, holding steady. Yeah, actually, look at that. We've got a little bit of motion in the arms now whenever I jump, because you animated it in the, well, I guess you didn't animate it in the midair, but in the other ones. So it's a little bit softer than having 100% weight. That's a good thing to know. You sort of get a little bit of blend. Yeah. And that because this is a parameter, I think we could probably access this weight programmatically and change it dynamically. So if we wanted it to start at a weight of 0 and ramp up and back down again, we could do something like that, which would be pretty cool. All right. Any problems or anything that you had?
None other than that jump thing.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Let's go back out of here. Gunter, how'd it go?
I think quite well.
Okay. So you've also got the player controller unnamed, so we'll test it and see if it works out. If it doesn't, then I'll delete mine from this scene. Player controller. There we go. All right, let's test it. Seems to be working. Cool. A little bit sharp on the up and down. How fast are you playing your run animation? 1.75. It may be that the actions that you animated are a little too broad for that, or that that's a little bit too quick for this controller, but it just makes it look really poppy as it's going up and down. I like this. Oh, okay, so you got it so I can click, 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 or hold, right? Pow, right through the wall. Cool. Oop, I got stuck on the wall.
That was quite appropriate.
Well, you could have gone for just the trigger one, but the holdout one's more fun. Cool. All right, very good. Any problems or anything you experienced? You want to try to see if we can make it less poppy with the root there with the run? We can mess around with it. Let's see. All right, let's find back here. Okay. So you could delete this one if you're not using it. Oh, I'm on the override layer. There we go. So we want the move tree. Oh, you got a full on 2. So we'll get a nice view of him. Increase. Walking seems pretty appropriate. And then, yeah, we're just getting a lot of sudden motion. I don't think it's the speed. I think it's maybe import settings. Let's set this to 1.5. Yeah, I don't think that did it. it's probably in the import settings similar to what we were seeing. I think it was with Jesse's. Let's find yours. What was your import named? Is it this one? Gunter, do you remember what your import was named?
I thought it was just Gunter, or no, Gunter.
Ah, you put it in imports. There we are.
Oh, I meant the for package stuff.
This one.
Oh, average Joe. I mean,
AJ. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So the floor, like it locks our camera to the transform root when we view it like this, but we can see the floor bumping up and down. So let's look and see if I include root transition position Y. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if that's going to solve it or not. Let's see. No, it's still pretty violent. Okay. So one thing that we can do is we can look in the actual animation panel down here when we're viewing an animation clip and look at the values. So that's completely possible. You can see they're read-only right now, but there's a way to change that. So let's go to Run. It's on read-only. Yeah, show the read-only properties. I want to see. Cool. And we're looking at the root position. Well, let me open. Yeah, there we go. Y. Oh, come on. It's just really lagging. Root position Y. And I'm going to go to the curves. And then hit F to frame. Okay. I think it's just how far up and down your animation is moving. So this is kind of neat, right? I'm looking at your character. This is the clip that you defined, and these are the values that it's reading. But it's all read-only. We can't do anything about it. But we actually can. If you open up your imported character once you've set up your clips, we can select the clips right here. There are these little triangles. And if we duplicate it, then we get a read-write enabled one right over here. And so this one, we can do whatever we want to. I think there may also be an option to make the clips read-writable on your import, but I'm kind of hesitant to do that because you might end up reauthoring them and then messing up the entire thing and not being able to go back again. I don't actually see. Oh, read-write enabled. Yeah, so right here, I think I could make it so that we could reauthor those clips, but I kind of just don't suggest doing that. Let's select the clip that I just duplicated. Go to the animation panel. There we go. So we're on that run clip position Y. And what I could do here is just kind of like scale these keys a bit closer together to reduce the amount of up and down. Let's try something like there. And I will have to apply this clip though, because in your animator here, this run clip is not the one that I just messed with. This is the one that you had directly from your import. So it's good to rename this one. Let's see, rename. So I'm going to call this run edit. That way, I can just replace it by doing this. So run edit. So let's see if that made a difference. Yeah, so now the hips are moving a little bit less, but the body's still kind of twitching forward because it's your animation. This is just kind of a dirty fix, like if you had something that was glitching out that you didn't have access to the original file for, maybe for some reason you have to edit it inside of Unity. Just know that you can. It's a pretty cool ability to be able to open the stuff up even after we've baked all of our animation, because now it's just bone rotations and movements. We can come in here and clean up the curves and reduce the motions even still. So it's a really nice thing to be able to do. And it also means that if you're handed a completely rigged character, or even a character that's missing all its rigging and just has its bones and mesh, you could do all the animation inside of Unity by creating new clips. I wouldn't recommend it because it's not very pleasant, but you could do it. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Thank you. Any questions or comments before I move on to someone else?
I did right?
Yeah, you did it. Thank you. All right. Sanchez. So that's Andrew, I believe. All right. Great. Let's import that. Prefabs and Sanchez. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Seems to be working. Hands are a little goofy, but it seems to be working okay. Okay. Jumps. Great. Jumps and moves. And we got the finger guns again. I think I remember that from last week, that both of you guys picked finger guns. Yep. Cool. All seems to be working out. Not really seeing any problem. Just a little weird, when we lock or don't lock the root, that we could mess around with the character mask to change the way that it blends. And like I showed just a little while ago, we can change the weight even of the blending. Oh, that's funny. If I do it like right in the middle of a jump, then he kind of like bangs his head. All right. Yeah, but everything seems to be working out. Oh, I've definitely messed up my character controller by doing something just then. All right. Very good, Andrew. That works. Thank you. And last, Isaac. Import prefab in the import folder. Okay. There. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. Yep, got the idle. He's gone for the single trigger. I can't hold it down, so it just plays the one time. And all the walk and run seem to be appropriate. Let's try it with this. Yep, doing it. And jump. You can even do it right in the middle of the jump. All right, very good. A little weird, that transition back, but that's okay. That's one thing I guess I didn't even think about, is that the transition time into and out of your special action might be important, because in the middle of that jump, his arms are in a very different position. But I don't think I even really talked about that. Let's look really quick at his animator on the action layer. So we've got a transition from nothing to a transition back to nothing. And this transition has no exit time, which is good. We want it to trigger when we click, of a fixed duration of a very, very small amount. But the out one has an exit time at the end of the action. We might want more transition because of the violence of coming back again. Let me stop the playback real quick and think, what could I do? I could make the transition longer than 1. So exit time at 0.95, 0.05, that equals 1, right? But we could make this longer than that. How about like 0.2? So as long as the clip doesn't try to loop again, hopefully it blends from this pose back to whatever other pose we're seeing. Let's see if that works. And the only time this was visible was when I did it into and out of jumping. Yeah, check that out. There we go. That actually worked. Yeah. So it's a nice soft transition out of again. So yeah, it was something I never even really thought about, but only kind of arises now in testing, where I saw that kind of violent snap back to the original position. And now it kind of makes sense that you might want to transition to take some time out of that action. Cool. So not something that you need to change, Isaac, or anything, just a nice thing to kind of point out. All right, very good. And that is everyone's file we have. We are whittling down to the few, the proud, the ironclad animators. You guys. You guys feel good to almost be done with the course? Kinda?
Yeah, it's good. Nice refreshing.
Have you guys seen the final assignment that is up now?
I think you showed me and Yunti last week.
Yeah.
Yang might have been here too, actually.
Were-
Yeah, the piranha plant?
Yeah, the piranha plant.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That's going to be a fun
I
one.
can't wait to like animate it.
I was revisiting the scripts that make it function to make sure that it works properly, and I managed to bug fix just a few things about it, how it wasn't working. And so, yeah, it should function beautifully as long as you guys understood the explanation of all the parameters. Do you want to take a look at that project right now?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and close this one and open up that project. Creature is what I called it. And keep in mind, I don't have any animations to supply to it because I'm leaving that entirely up to you guys. I didn't even want to demonstrate test animations because I know that a lot of people would base what I did or what they do off of what I did. So I wanted to not even demonstrate the animation part. But here we are in the test scene. Make sure, by the way, when you guys import the package, that you open the test scene. You'll be in sample scene by default, and this won't even be in there. So, yeah. So here's the slot. This is the thing that you're going to rename and turn in at the end. And it's got drag onto this, which means don't replace it, but do replace this. So this thing can stay exactly as it is. It's just the capsule collider and the behavior script. And it needs an association to the player, but I think that's automatic. Let's make sure. Uh-oh. It's not automatic. Okay. Well, I may want to bug fix that, but that means we got to drag onto that. So I'm going to drag the player right there, and now it should work. There we go. The way you can tell that's working is because those numbers are updating now. So I'm clicked onto the drag onto this feature, and then these numbers are changing. So if you walk towards or away from the potted plant, regardless of how you're looking at it, the number gets lower and lower like that. And if you look at it, it should be -1 is perfect. If you can manage to look exactly at the point, which will probably not really happen very often. But if you look away from it, it goes towards 0 and then directly away towards positive numbers. So you'll never use positive because we'll never see what's happening unless I put a mirror in the scene, which would have been clever, but I didn't think about it. So yeah, positive numbers are nothing. 0 is you're looking away, and then negative looking towards. So I'd recommend playing around with like the -0.5 to -1 zone, because that's where it's like away from or towards. Or even if you want direct eye contact, then play with the 0.9 to like 0.95 kind of zone, something like that. 0.9, let's see, where's 0.9? Right about there. So at 0.9, you're just looking away from it just a little bit. But it's not a raycast. It's based on angular difference. Okay. And then we've got the clicked on, which you can find happening in the console. There's that clicked on plant message, which should increment every time you hit it, even if you don't have an animator like we currently don't, and it's throwing errors. But that will still tick up every time. Okay. So you can trigger your animations however you see fit. It's also got this planter. If you want to include the planter that's in the piranha plant, just turn that off. All it is a geometry. There's no functionality whatsoever. Or you can leave it if you like. Okay. Any questions? Comments? Knock knock jokes? Limericks?
Not for the project, but like, can I show you how it looks my Unity for when I do the in-game?
Yeah, go for it.
That we're talking about.
Yeah, you wanna share your screen?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me just put that on.
Sure. And I've seen what you're talking about before. I just don't know how to access that.
Can you see my screen?
I hadn't tried. Yes.
Yeah. So this happens when I press play on my thing. See, everything becomes gray and I can touch anything. Like
Huh.
there's nothing to click. But then when I just go out of the game, it goes back to normal.
Weird.
So I don't know what I did or how to fix that, but it was bugging me out.
I'm trying to look it up real quick. Like I typed it in just to see if I can figure it out. But I really have no idea because mine has never done that. It won't lock the inspector, and I don't want it to. I want the inspector to be available. Maximize on play can sometimes be in the way where, you know, the screen just gets really big, but I don't immediately know.
Yeah, but mine stays the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it just goes out.
Yeah. I think it's probably some setting that I'm just not aware of. Try enable or disable debug on inspector. So if you go to the play tab, so you're in the game tab. Go to the scene tab. Where did I see it? I had just seen it on my own. There was a button for me in the upper right that was debug. Maybe it was during play mode? No? I just saw it. Where did it go? Let's see real quick. I thought there was a little button here, but I'm not seeing it now. That was what someone suggested on Unity forums, was to enable or disable debug on inspector. So I don't know where that setting is. Let's try like edit preferences. Nah, I don't know. It's not an essential feature all the time, but it sure is annoying, I bet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Debug on inspector. Where did I see that? It was a button, I swear. This one? No. Oh, okay. All the way over on the right in the inspector, the little tiny dots. Okay, so they're saying turn that on and then turn that back to normal again. And now hit play and see if it locks everything.
Yeah, it's
Did
still locking me.
So right now, if you hit escape, you can move your mouse around, but everything is still locked. Can you hit those three little dots to change the mode while this is happening? And then change it back to normal again? And it's still, everything's all dark and locked?
It's not locked anymore. You use the.
Oh.
It's on grayscale.
It's gray, but it is able to be edited now.
It's able to be edited, but it's just on gray.
Wow. That's weird. Okay, this sounds like a bug then. So it's a bug with the version of Unity that you're using. What version are you on?
It's .3.0f1.
.0f1? Okay, so I'm on .3.7f1. So you could, yeah, you could change to that version without harming anything, because as long as you're on 2020.3, you're basically fine. But you're on 0f1, I'm on 7f1. Maybe they solved it between those two and it was just a minor bug.
Okay.
That's real
I'll
weird.
update it for next week.
Okay. Bizarre though, huh?
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem. All right, you guys. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
No, I think that was pretty much it for me.
Okay. Then that is it for now. And I look forward to seeing your work when it's finals time. So let me talk about the schedule real quick before I stop recording for when things are due. I'm going to open up my calendar just to show you guys where we're at. So we are here Wednesday. The end of the quarter is next week. This is not due on the 8th. It's due on Friday. Okay? So you have the rest of this week and the weekend, and what normally would have been our due date, the 8th. If you want to turn in your progress at that point to get feedback, that's a good idea. I'll still be here for you guys on Wednesday, but then you have until Friday to turn it in rather than Tuesday. Okay? And then we're all done.
I'm so sorry. What was it in? Okay. My computer froze.
Our normal due date is the 8th. It would be Tuesday, but it's due on Friday.
Oh, okay. The 11th. All right.
Yeah, so you guys get a week and a half. I wanted to give you 2 weeks, but it turns out to be a week and a half.
All right.
All right?
Sounds good.
Hopefully it helps that the character already has bones and skin. By the way, the way that he came through from the download on the website that I linked to that has all the resources, he was sideways and he had really bizarre modeling practices. Like half of the model was split in half, not sewn down the middle, even though the weights were perfect. I have no idea what was going on there. So I fixed all that for you guys. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
That's what my weekend was. All right, you guys, take it easy. Look forward to seeing your work.
Do we have a meeting next Wednesday? Or
Yeah, I'll still be
Yeah,
here.
okay. All right.
All right. See you guys.
Okay. See ya. Have a nice day.